to all the bloggers who started posting one after the other that Henry Cavill was no longer Superman, you have no moral compass whatsoever. How dare you? The Hollywood Reporter started it, then comicbook.com, and then they all did. And then finally, Danny Garcia, who is Henry Cavill's wonderful agent, came out and said the cape is still in his closet, calm down. Then Warner Brothers came and had to make a statement. Now, they didn't come out and say, yes, Henry's our Superman, blah, blah, blah. They said, listen, we have always had a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and we continue to do so. We have not made any final decision on a Superman film yet. And that was it. So what does all this mean? It means basically we can't trust any blogger, any pundit. But then that wasn't enough, because then they started posting about Michael B. Jordan replacing Henry as Superman. So look, we need to start piecing this together and find out what happened. The reason this happened is because a week ago, Henry Cavill was announced as one of the characters in The Witcher. I don't know anything about The Witcher. I don't know the character. There was a lot of buzz online. Some people criticising Henry, saying going to television from film isn't a very good career move. Because, of course, it's a brilliant career move. And we know now that actors can do films and TV. There's no snobbery anymore. There's no divide anymore. So that's absolute nonsense, and it's not even worth listening to it. So because of that, they started to put two and two together. And because Warner Brothers and Henry have been negotiating for so long for a new contract for Henry, let's talk about that. They're negotiating. That means there's interest from both sides to continue the relationship for Henry to play Superman in the DCEU. So I'm guilty of it yesterday as well. I came on and did a video and said maybe it's not a bad move that Henry is replaced as Superman. When I look back at that video, I'm a bit disgusted in myself, because even though I wouldn't mind a new Superman, I would find it exciting trying to guess who they were going to cast. Henry is a great Superman, and not only that, he's a gentleman and a scholar. He's brilliant. Why would we want anyone else? And Henry's so funny, and if only kind of the new creative team who will be developing Henry's Superman in the new DCEU would just implement that great personality with his Superman and Clark Kent character, because he is a really funny lad. Late last night on Instagram, he held up, slowly lifting up a small statue of Superman and pulling a funny face, which basically all means he's still Superman. So what is holding up the negotiations in? Grace Randolph claims it's money. Twice she tweeted, please, Henry, just lower your price. She's talking nonsense. She says a lot of good things, but she says a lot of stupid things, and she makes up a lot of stuff as well. So I know what's going on, so let me tell you. No, I don't have 100,000 subscribers, but you can trust me. I'm a diehard Superman fan, and I wouldn't lie to you guys. What's holding up the negotiations is Henry wants a direct sequel to Man of Steel, and Warner Brothers are not willing to make a direct sequel. Let me tell you where the Michael B. Jordan rumours came from. It's true, Walter Hamada wants to bring in an Earth 2 Superman. Now, there is a black African-American Earth 2 Superman, but he would not be replacing Henry's Earth 1 Superman. He will be alongside that Superman in his own stories and sometimes sharing adventures with Henry. Now, Henry's really excited about this, but he's also really disappointed because he did want a direct sequel to Man of Steel. But I think there's going to be compromise. Now, what was really positive about what happened yesterday is all the fans coming together online, not to be negative. I didn't read one negative comment about Henry. Everyone was gutted, even if they don't like the films he portrayed Superman in. They love Henry as Superman. So two things were proven against Marvel and MCU haters. The MCU fans who hate us, who hate DC and always enjoying the bad publicity we get. That Henry Cavill is extremely popular as Superman, and the trends for Superman when this fake news came out were astronomical. So another thing that's come out basically is we want a Superman film as soon as. But we mustn't pressure Warner Brothers. They are taking their time trying to do something very special, and I've explained to you what they're attempting to do. But they're going to take their time. No, it was fake news that there won't be a Superman film for 3 or 4 years. Maybe 2. I don't know. But they're going to try and, look, the whole idea is they want Henry to cameo. Henry can be our Robert Downey Jr. He's got the personality. He's a really funny guy. And they want him to cameo in every single DCEU film coming up. Now, I don't know if it's too late for Shazam, but we know how it works. They can easily film a scene and put him in there. It's not that difficult. We know that. We know that Henry and I forgot his name now, and he's one of my favourite actors who's playing Shazam, actually share some jokes, and when the guy playing Shazam is on his kind of live Instagram, and then Henry's on the comments section, and they have a good laugh, and it's great. So I think there have been some plans, and Henry has got one more appearance on his current contract. Then they'll need a new contract, but that's in negotiations. Now, normally these contract negotiations aren't spoken about, but because it's taking so long, because of all the new creative heads that are in the DCU now, because of what happened before, everything has a spotlight under it. And I must admit, and I will stick to this, I did have a suspicion after Justice League that they would replace Henry. But now thinking about it, I'm thinking, no, give him a chance. I don't think there's ever been someone as popular who's played Superman since Christopher Reeve. Tom Welling was kind of popular. Some people like Brandon Routh. Some people like Dean Cain. I didn't like Dean Cain, either personally or publicly, as Superman and Clark Kent. He wasn't a good Superman. Plus, I don't agree with his politics, which shouldn't really matter. But I do think someone who plays Superman should have more of a political background of charity and compassion, if you like. And I'll say no more than that. Because Superman's one of those few characters, only characters, that it matters who he is in the real world. And who Henry is in the real world is a gentleman, and as I said, a scholar. A scholar's a word you won't hear much, but us British used to use it. It means this is the perfect guy, or as perfect inside and out as someone can be, who plays Superman. So I'm not just criticising the bloggers. I shouldn't have done that video yesterday. I was wrong. I should have waited. I didn't know that Warner Brothers were going to come out. Warner Brothers very rarely come out and talk about leaked footage. And they didn't come out and talk about the leaked fake news, but they did make it clear that they have a good relationship with him, and they continue to have a good relationship with him. And even Danny Garcia, who came out before Warner Brothers, who's Henry's agent, said, we continue to have a great a respect and relationship with Warner Brothers. So it's very interesting to me that both parties want to make it clear that they get on with each other. They want to continue that relationship. So, if they stayed silent, they couldn't stay silent. And I don't think Henry was allowed to say anything. That's why he did the video with lifting up the Superman figure to say, look, guys, I'm still here. I'm still Superman. I'm not going anywhere. So what should we make of all of this? What do you think, right, guys? Do you think it's a good move for Michael B. Jordan to come in as an Earth 2 Superman, having his own films and his own stories? Meanwhile, Henry having these cameo appearances within the Earth 1 DCEU and hopefully in the future getting a film as well. Is this good? I think it's good to think having like a movie franchise that's brave enough to have 2 Supermans. Superman is my favourite character. I keep on banging on about this. The more Superman we get, the better. Don't listen to the MCU fans and the Marvel fans that Superman's boring and he's too powerful and he's not human and he's not relatable. He's been relatable to me since I was that high. So that tells you something. And he's been relatable to many people. Kids now wearing Superman tops like me. Not because they're a fashion accessory. Not because the girls are going to drop their drawers because you wear it. Because Superman matters to a hell of a lot of people. He matters to me. He matters to you. And your reaction and the reaction of the public, the wide range public on Twitter, tells you how much Henry's loved the Superman and how much we love Superman. And I think that's brilliant. So please, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Is this a good way to go? Having Henry doing the cameos, while having Michael B. Jordan maybe coming in as an African-American Superman from Earth 2. Now, I know nothing about that Superman, but I'm quickly going to read up about him. I think this is exciting, but the one thing we need to gauge from all of this is we were all wrong. Henry is still Superman, and that's fantastic.